I am super excited to introduce you guys to Michelle Moreno, and she is very accomplished. In fact, she's been in some of my favorite shows, by the way, Boston Legal. I saw you were an actress in Boston Legal, which is amazing. But The Shield, NBC, every network you can imagine, she has had an acting role or played some sort of position in a TV show. And so, but the interesting thing about Michelle, when I was reading her bio, is that the first time she went on camera, like many of you will, and like I did, she was kind of freaked out. So really made that transition from freaked out to having finesse, confidence, and being able to share your message as brilliantly as possible on camera. So I'm very excited to have Michelle share with us today about video confidence, how to build trust with your audience, and just really how to represent yourself in the best way. So thank you, Michelle, and take it away.
Oh my gosh, Deborah, thank you so much. And believe it or not, I actually have nerves right now. And I guess the reason is because on your previous guests have like so much credit on media and doing media, and I don't. So like suddenly you just feel like the person who doesn't have anything going. And isn't it crazy that we all have those thoughts in our heads? No matter what level of accomplishment. You think after, I sang backup for Ray Charles and did a scene with William Shatner, I'd never have nerves again, and it's just not the way it works. So that's what we're gonna tackle today. Video confidence for business. You're gonna look great, sound brilliant, tackle your nerves, and inspire trust on video. Let's go. You're gonna learn how to look amazing, how to sound brilliant and make nerves your friend, even if you're terrified. Build influence and trust with emotional connection so you can crush it in your business and get your gerbil the habit trail of his dreams. Now, why am I qualified? Because ever since I was a little girl, I dreamed of being a television actress, but the only people on television with a hook nose like mine were Eric Estrada and the Wicked Witch of the West. But I moved to Hollywood anyway, and I got my big break. I was gonna be on the game show Hollywood Squares on national TV, and the camera light went on, and I freaked out on national TV in front of millions of viewers. This was circa 2001. Whoopi Goldberg and Big Bird were on the celebrity panel, and they watched me unravel. I couldn't even hear the words that Tom Bergeron was asking. And when I went back to the green room afterward, where all the other contestants were waiting their turn, they parted like the Red Sea to get away from me because they didn't want to talk to me. They were so embarrassed for me, and they didn't want to catch my loser disease. Okay, is that sad or what? And I ugly cried for like a year, and then I went back in the mouth of the lion, and I found mentors, I took classes, I went on hundreds of auditions, I took every ounce of feedback. 4 years later, I returned. And as Deborah said, on hit shows that you've actually heard of with celebrities like William Shatner, Michael Chiklis, and here are just some of the shows that I've been on, some of the networks. Well, these are really all the networks, let's face it. Those are all of them. And now I am a video confidence expert. Now I'm helping business owners, entrepreneurs, executives go on camera with confidence. So let's get you some camera confidence on demand. Does anyone know, just put it in the chat, why we dislike the way we look so much on camera? Does anybody have a guess? Let's see, let's look at the chat. Let's check it out. Let's see, what are your answers? Why do you think we dislike the way we look? Anyone? Self-judgment. Image is not real. Absolutely. Wait, oh my God, these are so good. Look at ourselves from the outside. Oh my gosh, you guys are smart. Okay, this is a smart group. Smarty pants. Yes, images and videos are digitally enhanced. Even our own, like we go in and do Photoshop sometimes. Actually, I don't do that anymore, but and we have these impossible beauty standards that we're trying to live up to. And like someone said, I actually like myself on camera. Good for you, Christy. Good for you. I actually do believe that I was born pretty. And I don't know how, but I often look in the mirror and say, ooh, I look ugly today. So, whatever. I don't know where all this comes from, but you're going to look fabulous. Bye. always making sure that your face is well and evenly lit when you go on camera. And the most flattering light there is natural light, especially the dusk and dawn light, known as golden light. But if you have to use a desk lamp, for you guys, I think you're going to upgrade a little bit. You can use the lights that I recommend, and I'll send. If you send me your email, I'll send you links to the equipment that I recommend. But you also want to raise your lens to eye level, okay? And if you're somebody like me, I tend to pick my head up a lot. So if I keep it at eye level and I pick my head up, you're gonna see up my nostrils, it's gonna be very unflattering. So if you're like me and you pick your head up a lot, then you're gonna actually have it even higher than eye level, pointed down slightly the way I have it. You're gonna see a little bit more of the body that way as well. So if you have a good figure, that's always a good way to work it, because you want to show your fabulous figure as well, or outfit, right? So you'll just raise it higher, and then you're going to angle it. You raise it higher and then angle it pointing down. Make sense? So eye level, always eye level. Put a stack of books, put it in a holder, put a box underneath your laptop if you're using your webcam, whatever the case may be. And you always want to make sure that your face is prominent if you're doing it direct to camera. Because if you're talking to people and trying to connect with them, they want to communicate with you, and they recognize your face, and human faces are what people most relate to. So make sure that when you put your framing like this, that you don't have a huge gap. One of the biggest mistakes I see is a lot of people will have a big gap when they're doing it from their house between the top of the head and the top of the frame, and you really don't want that. You just want a little bit, unless there's something so amazing behind you, like you know, Laura, for example, she would have a screen behind her with images that went along with her brand or her show, in which case, obviously, you're going to be in the corner like this and showing the stuff. But if it's just you and you are the thing that you need to showcase, close the newbie gap. That's what I say. And of course, you always want to clean up your background so that it's on brand and looks professional. Now, some wardrobe do's and don'ts are to always wear colors that flatter your skin tone, not colors that wash you out. So you want to literally take your clothing and put it under your face, put your camera on, and you know, when you see a color that looks flattering, just snap a selfie and then just compare your selfies and look to see which colors flatter your skin tone the most. You also want to take a look at your camera settings. I have a Logitech Pro C922, and there's a software that comes with it that allows me to change the coloring in the camera. And I did that for this because otherwise I look blue. Okay, so you also want to wear clothes that are form-fitting, because as we know, the camera does add weight. And you don't want to wear baggy clothes, because the eye, what the eye will do, the viewer, they take a look at you on camera and they just see where you end, where you cut off on the bottom of the frame, and they just imagine that that line keeps going. So if you come out with big clothes, they're going to imagine that the rest of your body is that wide, because the eye, the brain will just fill in the blank. So you definitely want to make sure that you're wearing form-fitting clothes. And this dress right here, it gives a kind of an optical illusion. You see this black on the sides. If you feel like you want to look thinner on camera, then just wear like a light popping color, and then just put like a dark jacket over it, so that now you have like a strip of a bright color that's going up and creating a vertical line in the frame, and then just wear like long vertical earrings. So those are ways, if you create a vertical line of color, you can look more slim on camera. Of course, we all know about the strobing issue. If you have a very tight pattern in your material, it can strobe on camera. So just test it out on camera before you wear anything tight. You see, hers is a tight pattern, but it's not strobing, but his is a tight pattern that is strobing. And of course, we love to pop from the background. So if you don't pop from your background and you blend in, it's kind of, it doesn't look as good as if you pop from the background. Like this color blue is very different from anything else that's going on behind me. So I'm popping from the background. Okay, any questions on that?
Just raise your hand. Everybody's muted. Let's see.
Oh, do we have any questions?
Let's see. Or you can drop it in the chat. I don't see any.
Okay, cool. All right, does anybody know, can you put in the chat, why do you think we dislike the way we sound? This is a harder question to answer. I think my voice is loud and abrasive. We are used to hearing.
Maybe I've been told that.
Have you? So we're used, it's very strong, it's a powerful voice. We're used to hearing our voice as sound that travels away from us, and we are used to hearing it from inside our own head. It has a completely different resonance when it's coming toward us as we are listening to our voice on a recording. It's coming toward us and we're not hearing it from inside our own head. So it sounds foreign. It sounds like another person, right? So it might take you some getting used to. So you always want to make sure that you don't have any tension in your neck where your vocal cords live. This has to remain free of tension because relaxation will allow the air and the resonance to flow in your voice. And that will allow for a more authoritative, confident sound. Maybe you'll sound like Deborah, like really loud and abrasive. I'm just kidding. So what you want to do is you want to do some kind of physical warm up before you go on camera, especially if it's like a big deal and you've got a lot of nerves. You want to get the yayas out with, you know, prancercise if that's your jam, you know, but yoga is actually a really good warm up before camera because it's so relaxing. But then to ensure that this is relaxed, I want you to sit up straight with me. And I want you to do the shoulder scrunch, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna breathe in and scrunch up everything, especially your shoulders, as high up as they can go. And then breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. And then let your air out and then just relax and sigh, just sigh. Okay, and you're gonna do it again. Everybody breathe in, scrunch up the shoulders. Very good, and then relax. So make sure if you're holding, if you're scared, if you're nervous, hold your tension in your buttocks, squeeze them together, squeeze your shoulder blades together, hold your tension there. Use your stomach muscles because that'll push the air out of your diaphragm, but do not hold your tension here because that will mess with your vocal cords. And you always want to make sure to keep breathing in through your nose. If you breathe in through your mouth, that air is very dry air and your voice will go dry. So just keep breathing through your nose to avoid any kind of frog in your throat, okay? Now let's do a couple vocal warm-ups. This is a classic, a lot of singers use this. Okay, so you're gonna do it with me and it goes, I'll do it first and you do it. Okay, you breathe in and you go, ah. Okay, everybody breathe in. Ah, again, and it's like you're sighing, like you're letting all the tension out. Breathe in. Ah, and then the raspberry. The raspberry you can breathe in, and then just like a baby does it. Okay, so just like a baby, breathe in. Anne asks, please talk about patterns of speech. What do you want to know, Anne?
I don't know if it's in there, but sometimes I've realized in hearing recordings, not speaking like clear sentences, like where you put your emphasis on speech. Is that just a practice thing? But I've noticed that in hearing back recordings, I'm like, even just recording my own voicemail message where I'm like, why is my voice stopping at certain places or more emphasis? If that's something that you talk about.
Well, I do talk about.
That's too general.
Are you using your pauses because you're searching for words like the same way somebody would say like, like, or, and, like filler words kind of?
No, but that's also another good thing as far as being conscious of filler words. That's a good thing that I noticed in interviews, certain things, not until you hear it later, being used to hearing certain things that we do say and ways to maybe be aware of that.
The best way for you to overcome whatever your specific issue is to just practice your area of expertise. So whatever you're an expert in, whatever you feel comfortable talking off the cuff about, you just put a little timer on and you time yourself talking about a topic for like 10, 20 seconds. And then you listen back and you say, what is it that I'm doing and why am I doing it? Filler words like is because we're searching for the words, but we feel like we need to say something and it's just our crutch. It's our go-to when we can't think of what we want to say. So to eradicate that, you have to pause instead. You have to learn how to pause and be comfortable with silence. Your pause issue, I wouldn't be able to diagnose it right on the spot, But what I will say this is you have to listen back to what you are doing and think about what is my thought previous to that pause. And then what you want to do is practice reading from a book or speaking, just grab any book and then just start talking and just focus on using as many notes in your tone as possible. So instead of speaking monotone in one tone like this, the only thing you're going to focus on is speaking up and down in the vocal range. That is very interesting, because if you learn how to use more notes, you're going to be more interesting to listen to no matter how many weird pauses you have. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And you listen back, you record yourself and listen back, and you'll eradicate whatever issue it is if you do it a lot. Okay, so
one comment I want to make too, just on tone, because I have noticed this, especially in beginners, is some people almost have like you start low and you end everything on a high note and almost melodic. So then I went to the store, and then I went into da, into da 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 da. So you want to make sure you don't do that, because that can be very also abrasive for your viewer.
It also makes you sound like you're not very smart.
Right.
If you end everything in a question lilt, you sound like a valley girl. Okay, so you definitely want to break that habit. However, you certainly can, you can certainly end on a high note if it's appropriate for the situation. Like, heck yeah, I was excited, right? Like, because it's appropriate, because you're excited. So you're going to end in a high. But if you're always ending in the question lilt, as Deborah said, it gets really annoying really fast. I had a friend who talked like that, and I couldn't even talk to her. After a while, I was like, oh my God, I can't be your friend, even though you're adorable. Okay, so here we go with some just equipment, some starter equipment. If you use your laptop a lot, I have a Logitech Pro C922. The price is around $149 or $189. It used to be $99, but now it's COVID crazy prices. But it's a great camera. I love it. The USB mic, the starter mic, the Blue Yeti, it's okay. There's better out there. I would say if you are using your smartphone, you definitely want to get some kind of a tripod and a holder to put the phone in that screws on the top of the tripod. And I suggest the square jellyfish. But if you email me, I'll give my email at the end. I'll send you links to all of these to your email. Now you're going to ask me, okay, but even with all these tips, why am I still freaked out? And the reason is fear of the camera goes back to our tribal days when we lived as pack animals. Being separated from the group meant death. You would starve to death, or you'd get eaten by a predator, the saber-toothed tiger, who can now see you, because you're alone in front of the group. And so your instinct when all these eyes are on you is to shrink and hide. And your body can literally go into fight or flight, which is what happened to me on Hollywood Squares, because we fear that saber-toothed tiger who can see us. Fast forward to today, and we have the cyber-toothed tiger known as the internet and trolls. So what are your top fears or struggles, if you have any, when you go on camera? Maybe you don't have any, but if you do, what are your sort of fears or hesitation? Like when you're staring at that camera, what kind of thoughts come into your mind? Anybody? Maybe you guys are super confident.
I think it was addressed before, is knowing during an interview process when we're dealing with the camera or the phone is where to look and when you're not feeling. And I think we addressed that, right? As far as like looking, if you're looking at the viewer, to try to concentrate and just look into the camera, or if you're looking at the person, to look at them. Like, that's okay during the interview, right?
That is exactly right. And if you have any confidence issues, does anybody here have confidence issues? If I will skip the inner critic, Tame Your Inner Critic rap, which is a song.
Christy had a comment. She's nervous she might talk too long or have run-on sentences.
Okay, okay, these are some of the things I hear from people, but I'm gonna sing this really fast. If you ever have trouble, you just take that inner critic. If you have an inner critic, put her in the back seat for the duration of the shoot. You cannot pull my focus away, because I have viewers who need me right now to stay focused, right? So you're gonna just tame your inner critic by talking to her and sending her on her way. It's time to make a video. Put your inner critic in the back seat behind plexiglass so she can't make a peep. She can come along for the ride, but she can't drive. And you cannot listen to her. She can come out when the shoot is over, because there's a time when you need her by your side. And that's the time to watch the replay, because she's a master. She'll tell you faster how to improve. Just ask her. And if you go cray cray, well, that's a small price to pay, because if you tame her, you'll have a hella big digital payday. Okay, tame your inner critic for the day. Yay! Bam. But we also fear judgment from girls like these. So the solution is to really just use your nerves to enhance your performance. Nerves indicate that you care. And if you view stress as helpful, it really does help you. So when you get on that first big interview or what have you, and you have like shaky hands, you're going to channel that into expansive body language and speech as follows. Okay, everybody do this with me. You're going to say, I am going to use my nerves right now to enhance my performance by rolling my shoulders back and just being into the camera, not hiding or shrinking back here, but just in there, right? You're gonna be in there, you're gonna be in the frame, you're gonna focus where you need to focus. You're going to assume wide body language. You're gonna use the extra nervous energy to speak clear, to speak loudly, to, you know, remember your talking points, as you say, to either focus on the viewer through the lens or focus on the subject of your interview, the person you're interviewing with that great focus. And you're going to, before you start, hold a smile for a full minute to generate the inner biology of warmth and happiness. Got it? I also teach more techniques in my program, Video Confidence, but that's gonna be how you're gonna channel those nerves into positive energy. Anybody have any questions? How about vocal cord warm-up sounds? Vocal cord. Okay, it sounds different than, okay, Christy had a question. Did you want me to give you a couple more vocal cord warm-ups?
I think that landed before you actually went.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, talking too long, run-on sentences. Yeah, right. So I'm sure you're getting lots of tips on how to not do that. But let's talk about trust, because you're gonna need your viewers to like you and trust you, right? To get them on board, or in your case, you know, to keep watching your show, or, you know, to take some kind of action with you. Does anybody know what motivates people to take action with you? I mean, there's lots of different answers to that question, but I'm asking it in a specific context. Let's see if we have any answers. Okay, no answers so far. Well, I'll just tell you, an emotional connection. So unless you have a baby panda in your budget, you are the baby panda. You are the baby panda of your brand. You got to create that emotional response. Now, some people are just not going to like you, and that's just the way it is. Okay, but that connection of your eyes looking into that lens is your connection to that viewer, right? And we are hardwired to expect an emotional response from those screens. So your biggest competition is not Susie Q in your space, it's kittens and the Kardashians. And so the biggest mistake I see is where the presenter who is speaking direct to camera is not looking into the lens, they're busy watching their own selfie video, especially if they can see themselves on the screen. It's okay if it's okay if you look away when you're thinking, but you have got to, it's natural, okay? Especially if you have to look over and look at something else. But as much as you can at key points or when you are speaking direct to camera, you have to imagine that that person you're talking to is literally inside that lens. You know, locate where that lens is. You can use a Post-it if you have to. You can put a photo over the lens with a hole where the nose is and to your favorite viewer, a picture of your favorite viewer, your best friend, whoever is going to bring out the best in you, right? And you're going to connect your eyes to that lens as you would in real life, like if you were having a conversation with your friend at a cafe, right? So I've seen Laura Saltman a lot, and she's really intimate when she talks to her people, right? feels like a one-on-one. I don't know if anybody saw Michelle Obama's speech for the Democratic National Convention, but she also has this weird ability to be so like with you, just you. It's like only you, right? So you're going to talk to whoever you love and enjoy. Like maybe you have a favorite client or favorite audience member, or maybe it's just the whole crowd. Maybe it's the whole crowd of your viewership that brings out the best in you. Whatever the case may be, you just want to recall and replicate like a juicy conversation that you've had with someone who really brings out the best in you. So when you go on camera, it's like that, right? So you can just pick up your phone and just talk to someone you love, and then just watch it back and say, am I like that when I go on camera? Right? Any questions? Anyone? Bueller?
I think we're good.
Okay, I'm glad somebody left. Okay, you can also ask yourself when you watch back, how can I improve for next time? Remember my rap, I said, just ask her, right? Your inner critic will tell you how to improve for next time. And really, going on camera today is about saying to yourself, I'm enough.
Your phone's in airplane mode, so I can't help you with that at the moment.
Removing the armor and the filters that normally protect you. That's why Laura, when I watch her, she's removed the filter. She's taken away the layers. I don't know how long it took her to do that. She's not here to answer, but Deborah, you can answer. How long did it take you to remove the layers?
Well, actually, it's funny. I was gonna let you finish, and I was gonna tell a story about the first time I went on camera too, because that critical voice had stepped in so strong. So I was working on a concept called the Journey into Wellbeing. I had never been on camera. I didn't really have training. And I woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I was going to do a demo reel. So we'd set up a couple shoot locations. And at 4 a.m. in the morning, that critical voice kicked in. Why didn't you lose weight? You're in your mid 40s. Most people are not coming in front of the camera for the first time.
Right.
Over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But literally there was another voice like that. In the moments where I paused, the other voice said, if you really believe in this concept and that it has the potential to change people's lives, who are you to not show up? And everything shifted for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up in front of that camera. I may stink. I don't know, but I'm not going to be the one who didn't give it my best shot. And so, I think what you said was beautiful. It's like, you just have to put aside that critical voice, show up, and just do the best job that you can do. And if you're not a little bit embarrassed, I look at that demo reel, I'm a little embarrassed. If you're not embarrassed in your first attempt, you waited way too long
to start. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And what Deborah did was something I call declaring your why to combat those negative thoughts. So she actually had something to say to her inner critic to combat the negative. So you look at those negative thoughts and you say, negative thoughts, whatever it is for you, and it's going to pop up. I want you to have a little phrase that taps into why you are doing this, what your brand means to you, why you're doing it. Maybe it's to feed your family. Maybe it's you're on a mission to help people in a certain way with your business or brand. Have that phrase ready to go to combat the negative thoughts and the inner critic, because you'll be lucky if she doesn't show up, but she might. So be ready. And you're going to stop hiding from the saber-tooth tiger. The saber-tooth, you know what? You're going to use the tips that I just gave you to appear confident. And when you appear confident, trolls do not attack. I don't think I've ever had a troll. They can tell that I'm going to eat them up and spit them out. They can tell that, not because I'm more confident, but because I look like I'm more confident. And guess what? If somebody does come at you negative, who cares? They're not your peeps. You've got to be judged. You have to be visible for the right people to trust you and like you. And leaders show up. And in the online business space today, that means showing up on camera. And let me tell you how you can really be a leader for your people. Everyone is so overwhelmed right now. We're overwhelmed with coronavirus, COVID. Today, I've screwed up the time to come on this training because my kids started LAUSD today, and it was like navigating, a minefield. So we're all overwhelmed. So you are going to ease people's overwhelm by making hard decisions for them and giving them a limited number doable, strategic steps that matter, that improve their lives, that take them to the next step, right? You're going to step in the spotlight and you're going to become a star because you will be a leader to your audience. You're here because you want to build influence and trust on video, and I can help you fast track that, even if you never go on camera or if you go all the time or if it doesn't go well, because I'm a coach. So I do have a 7-week intensive program, and if you just send me an email, I'll send you information on that. Plus, if you send me the email, I'll send you the notes for this webinar and the links to the equipment. And now you can ask me any questions.
Perfect. Let me unmute everybody here. Let's see. Oh, do you want to stop your screen share and I'll
Absolutely.
unmute everybody here. Here we go.
So any questions you like, and you can ask me again about the speech stuff.
Yes. All right, guys, this is your chance with some experts. What
And I'm going to put my email in the chat so you have it.
Okay. Sandy, I think you had a question.
Probably a silly question because it's just a hairdresser, but I have like frizzy big hair and I know it looks terrible.
Ah, the curling iron. So what you do, I have the same issue. So what you do is you take the hair that people don't need to see and you just put like a pin in it, okay? And then you just work with the front pieces and you take a curling iron and you take a strip and you smooth it with the curling iron, and then at least this top piece and this top piece are gonna look smooth. Do you work a curling iron or no?
I actually straighten my hair, but it just
Or okay, then take the straightener and iron the top strip. See how this like, I didn't really do the best. I put a little water and I put a little product, but if I wanted to really, if I was going on like ABC or whatever, then I would have taken the curling iron. You're going to take the flat iron to the top pieces. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
yes,
right now your hair looks great. And the only thing that you have to worry about is the part that the borderline makes sense in the camera.
Yeah, I would just say like around your crown, Sandy, is what, you know, she's saying is maybe just play with it and just try to pull some of that back and clip it.
Yeah, I got big hair.
But it looks good. So
Awesome.
it actually really like it. So the only thing you have to do is just be aware that the borderline between your background and the hair needs to be flat ironed because that's the line that people are going to see the most. Makes sense?
And more importantly than that, work on my confidence.
Oh, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. How could you even have any lack of confidence?
It's not the looks, it's the speaking.
Ah, the speaking. Yeah. So tell me just some of the things that happen.
I'm really so much better one-on-one, but you put it's, you know, I guess here's an example. If there's somebody that is not a cook or doesn't like to get into the kitchen and they've never cooked, and then you say, well, go make a full course meal. That's kind of what I feel like doing this, although I'm very excited to do it, but I've never been one to be in front of a camera or anything like that. So,
Well,
but I do have a message I want to share. So that's my intention.
yeah, I mean, I would have told you to join my video challenge, but it just ended. But you can definitely take like either a video confidence course, or if you don't want to spend any money and just do it yourself, then every single day for the next 5 days, put yourself on camera and just look into that lens and choose somebody you love to talk to and tell them something that you're really excited about. Like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you, this lady, Michelle, she told me to talk to you in this camera. You don't have to really send them the video. You just pretend you're going to send them the video. And then you watch it back and you ask the question, how can I improve this for next time? And then the next time you walk in front of a window and you do it again. And you say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I realize that this light I look so much better. And say whatever you want, just for 1 minute, and then watch it back and say, how can I improve for next time? And if you literally do that like once a day for the next 30 days, you will be so much more comfortable looking at yourself, talking on camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, great.
One of our questions was, what about how much you move your hands and body language? And Michelle, you and I are similar because I'm always like, whoa.
Oh my gosh, I am such a mover and a shaker. I've had directors say to me, stop moving your head.
Yeah.
Then I have to be like this. It all depends. If your brand, if your personality is a mover and a shaker, then put your camera higher than eye level and point it down and be you. You want to be the same on camera as you are off camera. Now, if you're getting feedback from some viewers, you might want to ask some ideal viewers, like, what did you think? If you're getting feedback that it's too much, that you have some kind of, like weird tech that's off-putting, then you have to work on that. But, I am incredibly animated when I speak. Only the people who like animated talkers are going to vibe with me. And the other people who don't like that, like my mother-in-law, who was like, you move too much. Bye-bye. She's not going to watch my show ever. So if you don't like it yourself, if you look at it and say, I don't like that, then you're going to have to work on calming your body down, in which case you will hold your hands purposefully in your lap if you don't want to move them around. But if you feel like you're so monotone and boring and you don't even move, then you're going to make a point to maybe use your hand once in a while. It depends on you. It depends on your brand. It depends on your specific quirks. I will say this, in my program, my group intensive, I ask people to make videos and I give them exact ways to improve on what they want to work on.
Next question, what kind of visual, unique things would you recommend to be remembered or talk about? So that probably could apply to personal or background.
Yes, wardrobe is a great way to be remembered. Some people, like, I know a guy who always wears a very specific type of fedora hat. And everybody's, oh, the hat, and he has it like in his avatar. I know a lady, she's a LinkedIn expert, but her last name is Fox, so she always puts on the Fox ears. Okay, so there are wardrobe things. I know a woman named Zaylee Barclay. She always has the most incredible statement earrings. And as long as they're not shining and reflecting your lights, especially if you're going on media stuff, and it's not causing a problem, like if they're made out of cloth or they don't shine, then that could be your statement. But there are some visual things you can do, like within the first few seconds of your video, you can do something like, hey, just something that if somebody's scrolling and if you're posting your videos online, or, hey, everybody, join my challenge, crickets to clients, like stuff like that, or, you know what I mean? Like, but quick, you don't want to make it an all day thing. You just want it to be something cute and memorable that's thematic, that's on brand for your show. Like, you don't want it to be some big, long, dragged out. Like when I first started, talk about embarrassing, Deborah. When I first started, I used to sing a theme song and I had no viewers. And I was like, what's the problem? They're like, yeah, you're supposed to be talking about business tips, and business people didn't have things like for you to sing a whole theme song. They've already left you already. Okay, so it's gotta be quick.
2 seconds.
Yeah, make it like 2 or 3 seconds, exactly. If you're gonna do like a cutie thing in front of your show, like every time, welcome to Video Confidence. That's it, that's it. And when you don't do the clapper, people will get pissed. So you gotta make sure if you commit to a thematic element like that, you gotta stick with it.
Next question, and this would be a good one for you because you're representing it very well. How do you manage glare on glasses?
Yes, okay, so the last training I did for my students, I had this light at eye level with my glasses, and it was glaring all over the place. And I thought, oh my God, that's not a very good example. So for this webinar, I raised these lights much higher than my head and pointed them down so that now the light is still on me, but it's coming from up there. And so the glare is not happening. If I lowered this light to be at eye level with my glasses, then of course it's going to show up like it did on my training where I was very unprofessional. All right, so so if anybody wants the notes, email me. When I send you the notes, I'll be putting you on my email list, of course, because weekly, twice a month tips on how to go on camera.